Young tune on the track.
It's Billy on. Okay. Shawty say she thinks she love me most, yeah. Black.
Ah ouais, Kazi, KMZ, Siwa, Maraza, Hey, I just killed this shit. Don't call it murder. You don't remember. You don't remember. Let's go 360. 360 degrees. Lyrics beats. I call this shit marriage. I just killed this shit. Don't call it murder. You don't remember. You don't remember. Let's go 360. 360 degrees. Lyrics beats. I call this shit marriage. It's marriage honeymoon till the beats are whack. For smash, KMZ, Maraza, K1s, I got this shit done.
Charlie, what they happen? We'll make more money when we rappin'. Got a booty clapping, but I tell her to keep practicing. Shawty put that practice in, and I'ma put that plastic in. And all these ladies want a photo. Got the cameras flashing, I'm back and I'm crashing with your mommy to put that practice in. Shawty put that practice in, and I'ma put that plastic in the knife. Practice is in session, I'ma fashion you a section in my practice room. Mention me in my crew when they ask you who you fancy up in. Kanye, so welcome. Welcome, Kanye Sonka. Scorsese, Joe Pesci, good fella, no mercy to Yalla, do pay me so I can take it to the show. Now, baby, don't tell, I'ma take it to the after party hotel, then we'll fuck to Joe Dish. I'm coming forth racing, my grind is full-headed. Ugadingos, I'm Sabi stove, I probably won't panic. I'm grinding on the pavement, I'm Jackie Joe, I'm patient. Your shine is ghost, it's probably cause it's slightly overrated. Like, ooh, ngalan bakuza bafana bafuna ngulume ngengane ngizoshaya lebhari ngombani esikhalisa bomama lesikhali like oh la 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 phuma la balalikas ngithela amafuthi imbili like tuta self-fry you know why. Charlie, what they happen? We dey make more money when we rappin'. Got a booty clapping, but I tell her to keep practicing. Shawty put that practice in, and I'ma put that plastic in. And all these ladies want a photo. Got the cameras flashing. Oh, Black P, calling her voice. PK Kumalo, singing on. Nyabonga bafethu, thanks for joining me.
Bad boy, no GD do. My side girl does it better than the ones you see in videos. I let her grind hard on the floor, while I grind hard trying to get the dough so I can bake bread. Bake bread and I share no bread with no hoe. I only smash the cake, then I let him go. Go to the bakery the next morning, get some red cakes, red bones all morning. Baby girl, is your man still flossing? My teeth are clean and I'm ready to eat. I'm gunning for the cream and I'm not a human being, so I eat it like an animal. Hit it like a dog, only made, then I'm gone.
Okay, Charlie, what?
I just killed this shit.
We make more money when we rappin'.
You don't remember.
But I tell her to keep practicing. Shawty put that practice in.
Lyrics beats.
And all these ladies want a photo. Got the cameras flashing, I'm back and I'm crashing with your mommy to put that practice in. Shawty put that practice in, and I'ma put that plastic in the knife.
Young tune on the track.
It's Billy on. Okay. Shawty say she thinks she love me most, yeah. Black on black, I pull up like a ghost. Okay. Now she sounds like you some boogie toast, yeah. Okay. Uncool me, they too late. You hold me, I'm for me. Uncool me, they too late. You hold me, I'm for me. I'm for me. Yeah. Okay, shy young nigga, bungle no guitar. Okay, killers together on my collar. Okay, drip, 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 iya conta. Petum dano su, lale. Okay, my galala gimgega lale. She heard I got the juice for me linkwe. Oh, bet you pulls them in a boga manju man today. She didn't love me right away, by the way. I was nothing, boga man just saying obey, by the way. Bitch, I'm stunting, catch 'em drowning in my wave by the day. Catch your body with the swagger, yeah, I slay. What can I say? I'm the great. Shawty say she thinks she love me most, yeah. Black on black, I pull up like a ghost. Yeah, she sounds like you should go booty toast. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I don't mean to boast. Uncle me, little lane. You want the man, I need to me. Uncle me, little lane. You want the man, I need to me. Okay. Now get the pantula and my collar. Black on black, my drip is Coca-Cola. Okay, touch him down, no, she say you're so polar. Listen with him free, yeah, I'm bumper. Give petty point of view, you're millionaire. I swear my levels to Gotti from where I came. I heard she got a crew, she's a bet. Not me, as Lali, my just a chance. We was grinding every day. We was working, never stopping, no way. Catch you slipping, take your chicken and your pay. Niggas tripping, I'm the reason why they hate. What can I say? I'm the great. Shawty said she thinks she love me most, yeah. Black on black, I pull up like a ghost. Now she sounds like kissing kwa booty toast. Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I don't mean to boast. Uncle me, little lane. You want the man, I need to me. Uncle me, little lane. You want the man, I need to me. Shawty say she thinks she love me most, yeah. Black on black, I pull up like a ghost. Now she sounds like kissing kwa booty toast, yeah. Uncle me, little lane. You hold me, I need to me. Uncle me, little lane. You hold me, I need to me.
Yeah, I'm tuning on the track.
Ole my way. Yellow boyfriend, some on the moray. I just give some a big go. Say she believe it. Trust, cashew, bust, skim, some on the shit. My man, you should stick. My man, I got hits. Come in, cause she's never gonna buy a car. Really on, rolling, floating on that Mary Jane. Smoking mirrors, I be on my David Blaine. Don't know no better, no matter what they claim. I'm dope, eat cocaine, yeah, still that nigga. Spit mad with her, still stack figures. And if the bitch bag, get her, I keep the juice in the 6-pack. I keep the sauce in the big bag. Keep the racks in the thick stack. If a nigga mad, get a bitch slap. Where your bitch at? It was skim. Some man on the shit. Now man, you should stick. Come in, I got hits. Come in, cause she is a never gonna buy a visa. Ay, skim. Some man on the shit.
I'm tuning on the track.
Hey guys, today I just wanted to have a real talk conversation. No fancy editing, no special effects, just you and me one-on-one talking frankly and openly and truthfully to each other. Over the last few days I've been depressed. I remember there was a time when it was very hard for me to say that. It's still very hard for a lot of people to say that, especially young men from my background, because we have this incredible expectation to be strong and to quote Indoda Aikali, which I think is incredibly detrimental to who we are and for our progress, and is part of the reason why so many young men are so angry these days. And they're doing bad things because of that anger. Ironically, I don't think there's anything, I think there's very few things that require as much bravery as facing depression and being honest about it. Because it's your own personal health. You know, you could be having the best years of your life and everyone around you is actually envious and just like, oh my God, you know, things are going so right for this person. And everyone around you would see it except you. If that's not hell, I don't know what is. And so many people have lost the fight against depression. Robin Williams, Philip Seymour Hoffman. To live with depression and anxiety and still carry on choosing to live, I think is a lot harder. And if you're out there feeling the way that I feel, you can often feel guilty. And I used to. I'm grateful I have a great support team around me whom in my darkest times, sometimes I fail to even see them. But at least they know that deep down I know they're there. I need you to understand out there that it's okay to not be okay. You know, we have this thing where we greet each other. Hi, how are you? I'm fine. That's exactly how it goes. And we accept that we're not really asking how you're doing. We're just keeping up the courtesy. And you're not really answering how you're feeling, how exactly you're doing. You're just responding to the courtesy. If someone says, hi, how are you? And you say, I'm not okay. My world is breaking down right beside me. More often than not, they're not going to know what to say. It's going to be like, well, that's not what cool, sorry. It's not why I was asking how you're doing. It's not like I wanted to know. But what I wanted you to know out there is that if you're feeling like you're selfish because there's so many people around you who are offering you their love and their support, and it doesn't reach the place it is intended for, which is your heart, don't. You're not selfish. You just have a mental health issue. You're not crazy. You're just depressed. And it does not last forever. Of all my years dealing with depression and anxiety, I used to think, oh man, happiness doesn't last forever. And then recently I decided, wait, the same can be said for depression. You could look at it and say, happiness doesn't last that long because the depression comes in. Or you could look at it and say, the depression doesn't last that long because the happiness always comes back in. And just by having this conversation with you guys, as impersonal as the internet might be, I already feel a lot better. It'll probably change as soon as I get up from this chair. But I want you to know that for this brief moment, knowing that you're watching this and you're listening, I feel a lot better. And I'm hoping that you watching this feel like you're not alone, because you're not. Not even in your own life, in your own neighborhood, are you alone. You just might be the only one who's willing to admit it. So many of us go through this, and healing can never ever begin without a diagnosis. And a diagnosis is not a death sentence. Diagnosis is not a prison. You can't get out of this. You might get back into it, but you can always get back out again. And I'm not going to keep lying to myself and saying that I'm not in the hole, but I'm also not going to stop fighting to get out of it. And when I'm out of it, those are the days that matter. I wish you all nothing but love and happiness. And if you ever need someone to talk to, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 7 p.m., I'm streaming live. And on Fridays, on Gelizanati. Love you all. Hell yeah. If you're out there and you sometimes feel exactly this way, that was for you.
Uganda. Let's take a move, Caesar.
And here we are, baby. I'm back. I've been out there singing Mandarin with the Chinese. Already feeling like a veteran. I got the keys. I got the seeds to plant the trees and flood the streets. I got the heat on the degrees. Overseas, collecting fees since Halloween. Trick or treat, for the seeds, for ugly, for all my fears. Like where you been? I was in Beijing and Toronto for the scene. Been gone so long, I've been gone. The laws you niggas who go on and on, yeah. Bring it on, I don't want to give you guys corona. I don't want to give you corona. Can't do that. So I keep my hands clean. I keep my everything clean. Okay? What's up? What's happening? What's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for being here. It is From Boys to Men every single Wednesday, 7 p.m. with your homie Umaraza. What are the chats saying? Welcome to it. Moonlit, I have awoken. And Krokos Fiso Eitamaraza sengigade. Manag. Sengade uqeke qiyaphila nkabe. Yeah. Hi Maraza, says Tay, I think. What up, Tay? I sounded like a girl there, ne? The way I said that. Huh. Sengi on ge says PK Kumalo Raza, your voice to go show Black B innocent kase. Let's go to K-Town TV be televised Mkaya wami wangasempangeni. Uti Mkaya, I even set a reminder on my phone just to tell you this. I was not sure if I should call or not. Yesterday, you forgot to react on my song Studio and you got my soul. You only announce. Oh, Mpo, what's up, my homie? What's going on? Good to have you here, my brother. Shout out to Mpo Fobla Mfolo. He's I'm probably butchering his surname. He's one of my best friends. He was one of my groomsmen at my wedding. Truly a person who's had a remarkably positive influence on my life. I love you, bro. Bese uthi usiyabonga Nkosi uthi wala Raza too. Bese uthi Tunisani Floyd Khosa says I love you, bro. Love you too, bro. Nomti says you might as well have said welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey my rising. Hey Nomti. Who is that's a fit. Who about Nomti? I'm very curious. What's your Twitter handle? We're going to be talking about something that is very close to my heart. Big up Maraza says Lash DJ Blessing TMR. It is From Boys to Men. We talk about things that are important, that impact young men, young boys, and inevitably things that impact us as men will eventually impact the ladies of our country. So that's what this entire series is really about. I speak to boys, I talk to boys about boys' issues because those issues, if not dealt with, they grow into things that negatively affect our sisters. We all know what's going on right now. There's just too much, and it's been going on for a long time. And, it's making the climate terrible for good men to be able to shine. Now, every man is considered trash. Every man is considered a dog. And hopefully this is one of the shows that will give some hope to our sisters to say, oh, listen, that's funny. You have every right to be angry, but let us in as well. Because some of us really want to join this fight with you. And the fight is against our brothers anyway. I've been meaning to catch this, says Umpo. This is amazing of you, fam. Thank you, brother. Thank you. I really appreciate that. One time. First time on the live stream. Already loving it, Raza says Luyanda Katanga. Raza, we in. Always set a reminder for this. Thank you, brother. Especially for this particular one because the music one is it's standard. It's funny, it's, it does the things, and it's very easy to get an audience for that. But this is a lot more serious, and I'm really happy to see that you guys are actually warming up to it. Finally, years later, my raps are a movement. I'm denying you damn haters the chance to rebuke it. I'm building this music. Look, I'm spitting the blueprint. If killing cats is a language, listen for chat cause I'm fluent. Minang sa pusha my label. Minang pandaluwak is bias. Cool, people snai pull. So cutting big as a Red Bull. Mafasu plugin chonja my cable. Weba ba way. Cause the sigen lilies in just Salute telele nezita zamme. Sebe kulupele bebela ngamme. Maseng pumelele bazozwa ngamme. Ankanyiseni ye. Sebu mnyameni ye. Ang sabi segi ye. Ang sabalegi ye. Ankanyiseni ye. Pume mnyameni ye. Ang sabi segi ye. Ang sabalegi ye. Coming to you live from a great place. They associate my name with a great face. I got that kind of bread with that fresh baked taste. It ain't a lot of rappers in the same space. I'm GOAT. You know my people are too woke. They put me up with 2 PAC. I'm not afraid no more. I don't run. But if I never was, this wouldn't be no fun. So ankanyiseni yeah, sebunyameni yeah. Ang sabi segi yeah, ang sabalei yeah. Ankanyiseni yeah, kumemnyameni yeah. We are live. Call me right now on 068 041 8662. That's 068 041 8662. Talk to Maraza on stream. Indeed, the phone is up and running right now. Do hit me up. I'm very keen to talk to you guys. So today I wanted to touch on a subject that was very important for me. And yeah, some people said I got a bit too passionate about this. To some degree, I'll agree. I do think that I'm very sensitive to these things. And whether it's because I have a son or whether it's because I am a son, I'm not too sure. But I have a serious problem with bullying and bullies. And, you know, I was having a conversation with Geleza Nazi today on Twitter for the Wednesday initiative called Tweet Out. You know, we can't always speak out, but we can always tweet out. And they do this incredible initiative where they spark conversation with really important topics. For the past 3 weeks, all the topics on From Boys to Men have been directly influenced by Geleza Nati's tweet outs via their Twitter page at @GN_SABC1. So there was an incident that happened a few days ago. Some young kid had a piece of his finger chewed off or ripped off or cut off. I don't know how, but a young kid in primary school in Pretoria had his finger chopped off by other students. I don't know, man. Like, Geleza Nati, big shout out to Geleza Nati, by the way. For anyone who doesn't know, Geleza Nati is a platform on SABC1, Mondays to Fridays, 5 to 6 a.m., where they help young people, particularly in the late grades of high school, 10, 11, and 12, with some of the difficulties in their subjects. They cover the full range of subjects in school and will help you with professional tutoring for free between 5 and 6 a.m. Mondays to Fridays, but it doesn't end there. They will also be assisting you with whatever questions you have, which can be answered live on Facebook when the teachers are doing their live streams, as well as their live Facebook interactions, as well as their Twitter page at GN_SABC1, and of course, the Instagram page, Geleza_SABC1, where every single Monday I put up an inspirational vlog. So do check those guys out, and I look forward to you guys telling me how your results have changed, especially in matric. They do also go live every single major exam season, so you can wake up bright and early and catch up on some lessons for the day, and they do it based on the papers that are being written that day. So really, really good stuff. Big shout out to Geleza Nati. Thank you for making this particular episode possible. Now, if you look at the chat right now, I just want to quickly get a sense of what you guys are talking about. We've got another one. Tandega Masina says what's Ratala. Okay, Martin. Wala Maraza, we in always. Set a reminder for this. Okay, cool. Bongani Ndlovu, Benyat says, hey, Ndota, not all men are trash. My man, nice content, boss. Thank you. We need to help the boy child grow, boss. That is truly true. There is a bit of, because of the anger against some violent men, there is a bit of, neglect going to young boys. And, you know, some of our more radical sisters, their anger is blinding them from seeing that, you know, the more we treat all men with contempt, the more we grow a generation of men who will be reluctant to step in and help, because sometimes, even I sometimes feel like no matter how many times I try and help, there's going to be a sister out there who looks at me, realizes that I have a penis, and decides that I am trash irregardless. So it can be discouraging, but this channel is about fixing the wrongs that I see in my own brothers and my own sisters. I mean, in my own brothers, sons, neighbors, and just generally all men. The track is fire, says Zaman Dlamini. Yes, because there's definitely many reasons for women to be angry. Do not get me wrong. The Angsabalegi jam slaps every single time. Indeed. Thank you. Mpo says, so true. It's hard to be a good man in this country. Our brothers are really, really wilding. This platform will hopefully affect change. Yeah, our brothers are losing their minds, bro. Masakutu Moonlit says, some kids can be so cruel. Yeah, they can. Mojalefa says, away Maraza, away Moja. So, the reason this is very important to me is, one, that kind of behavior doesn't end there. Let me tell you that now for free cash. That kind of behavior does not end there. You're sparking something. And you are sparking something that will go well beyond. Also, another thing, do not give me this little thing, Guti, hey, these are kids, whatnot. I genuinely feel like these kids should not have been at school already because, here's my because. No one goes from perfect, loving, kind student to mutilating another human being and chopping off a portion of their finger. That does not happen. Nowhere in the real world. That boy or those boys have found their way to the principal's office a few times before. The school has been aware of the issues of discipline. There's no way. There is absolutely no way that a kid who was a good student today, never having had a track record of being bad, suddenly the next morning decides to cut someone's finger off. So I really feel like schools really need to start, schools and parents, we need to make a decision now. In our attempts to fight bullying, which are very, very important, we do definitely need to teach kids that bullying should not be something they engage in. But in the meantime, we need to start prioritizing the kids that are at risk. Fighting bullying and then allowing the bullies, the known bullies, to continuously roam free in schools. Aye. And someone's going to say, oh, don't lose, they just need to be taught better in. Okay, cool. Keep your child at home for the next 2 years so that you can fix your bad parenting. I've said this so many times before. My son will never, ever, I guarantee this, cross my heart and hope to die, I bet it on everything I have. You'll never hear my son coming out in the news, Uti, he cut someone's finger off. Or that he even slapped someone who wasn't being violent with him. That is never going to happen. Is he going to be a perfect kid? No. Will he be naughty in class? Yes. Probably. But there's a huge difference between naughty and evil. And some of you out there are raising demons and you are sending them to our school. You're raising demons and you're sending them to school with our kids. And you know who is responsible for what those demons do? It's you. You, absent father. You're just as guilty as your son who chopped off another man's son's finger. You, absent mother. You're just as guilty. You, abusive parents. You're just as guilty. You, parents who don't involve themselves in your kids' lives, are incredibly guilty. And Minavana, if something like this happens to my son, if something like this happens to my son, I'm dealing with everybody. If your son cuts off my son's finger, oh, there'll be hell to pay for the both of you. I will bulldoze everything in my path. Because the one thing I always teach my son, the first and most important thing that I teach my son is respect everyone. That is the best way to respect yourself. The second thing I always teach my son is family first. I actually tell my son to put his sisters before me and his mother. All the time. Family first. And in that bracket of family first, it's his little sisters first. So that if anything should ever happen one day where I go cuckoo and I lose my marbles and I start mistreating my children, my son knows if that day ever comes, God forbid, and it won't because I'm not crazy, but if I do go crazy and that day does come, and my son is forced to choose between me and his sisters, that choice will be very easy for him. I've made it for him. And I've empowered him to make it himself, should we ever find ourselves in that position. Choose your sisters. Hlonipha uyihlo nonyoko, kodwa vikela utate wenu notate wenu. So with those two things, my son having respect for everyone because it shows respect for him, he's not going to be a bully. Kids who have respect for other kids, don't bully them. Especially kids who have respect for themselves. Because they know, they realize, and they can see that they are beyond such petty issues of, asserting dominance over another child. Why? I have dominance over myself. So many of you can't even conquer yourselves. So who's the real tough guy here? But if you touch his sisters, if you touch my son's sisters, my daughters, if your son touches my kids at school, and then my son touches your kid back, don't call me. Because you'll just be calling me to go and finish what my son started. I'm sick and tired of this passive treatment of evil teenagers. This passive treatment of evil preteens. Schools are there to teach our children. And for the duration of our children being in that school, our kids are supposed to be protected. So if there is something threatening the safety of our children in that school, it needs to be dealt with. If it can't be dealt with, let it be removed. I honestly feel like sometimes the Department of Education prioritizes children in the wrong way. Yes, children are children. But just like every other human right, I have the right to freedom of speech. But it's when that freedom of speech infringes on someone else's freedom of speech, it's no longer freedom of speech, it's a hate crime. It's hate speech. So even though I have the right and my freedom of speech should be protected, but I can't just go around saying whatever I want about white people or black people or Indian people or homosexuals. I can't. I don't have that right. That does not fall under my freedom of speech. And if you're going to support that guy's right to dignity and also protect my right to say whatever I want to say about him, then you're not really protecting that guy's right to dignity, are you? You're prioritizing my rights over his. Because I'm using my rights as a scapegoat to infringe on his. So, all children deserve love. All children deserve education. But when children take those two things away from other children, We need to choose. And maybe that choice is exactly what your demon child needed for them to realize that the world doesn't revolve around them. And they can have a better time in the world if they contribute to making it better.
I need a glass
Call me
house
right
and
now
a
on 068 041 8662. That's 068 041 8662. Talk to Maraza on stream.
glass house and a benzo. I need a glass house and a benzo.
Married to the game, but a fundamental. All I spit is flames, in and bembo. Aiming for your brain, imagine the ammo. I'm feeling like Rambo, yeah, bo. I'm propane, flammable, cocaine, memorable. My flows aim to shatter your whole damn mandible. You weak jaw, bitch, soft. Niggas get your shit popped as soon as the beat drops, nigga.
Young nigga fuego. Nigga fuego.
All right, let's see what the chats are saying out there. Athi uBraylo man, nanglo Mswati. So telekile mnak. Ngitelekile mnak. I'm here till the end of this topic. It's very dominant. Shout out to you for touching this one. Big shout out to Nanglo Mswati, Mr. Bully. I love your song, bro. It's so much fun. I can't wait to see you perform it actually, because that song is perfect for the stage. Stabby says hi all the way from YouTube. Hi Stabby. Great advice you're giving to the low man. One time, bro. And you know him. You know him. Also, by the way, Mpo Mfolo is my youngest daughter's godfather. Umi's godfather. So, you know, I'm telling Spa to look after our daughter. All right. Bese kuthi Lawrence Smith says ngiyabingelela sawubona Lawrence kunjani? Yebo. Luyanda Katangana says, yeah, sometimes schools don't feel safe. Yeah. Sometimes schools are not safe. A lot of the time these days. Stabby says, word. Great advice, bro. Your talk about procrastination yesterday gave me the urge to study. I'm glad, bro. I'm happy. Moonlit says, the sad thing is that we live in a society where black fathers are not present in their kids' lives. Incredibly sad. Incredibly sad. Or either present but don't really care enough to raise them well. Yes, that's true. That is true. Another thing they do is, if they're present, their presence is there to just strike terror in their kids. It's disgusting. I had a mother who believed that making me afraid was making me respectful. And I do my best to raise my kids differently. You know, I want my kids to know that that's not what they need to do. They don't need to be afraid of me. They need to respect me. In turn, it teaches them that to earn people's respect, they don't need to make people afraid of them. They just need to show people that they are good, strong individuals who can be a positive influence in their lives, who can contribute positively to a good society, and who have great principles and stand for something. As soon as people see that, the respect will be absolutely natural. It's really sad what our kids go through sometimes, you know. And I really I am not about prioritizing other people's evil children over mine. That's not going to happen. I will not even prioritize my evil children over yours. If my kid, they will be hell to pay. They will, before my son even gets expelled, if ever, this will never happen, but if it ever does, there will be hell to pay. There'll be hell to pay. I will not be harboring a terrorist. Never. Way. Liar school boysons. Alistair RSA says the show is absolutely fantastic. It's basically what we need in SA. Thank you, bro. So I have a question. Thank you. Mposa. So I have a question. What do you recommend we do with the kids that are causing harm to other kids? I agree something needs to be done, but what? That is a very good question. The emotional response from me says kick them to the curb. Out. Out. But the more adult response in me says there needs to be institutions. There needs to be a school for troubled children who are taken there. Put the dangerous kids, like the ones that chop off fingers from other kids, juvenile detention center. I am not even joking. Like, easy. If someone can do something so gruesome to someone else right now, and they don't see any risk to their own life and freedom, you are embedding that in their head that they can chop up people and walk out. When that person becomes a serial killer at the age of 25, do not shake your head and say you don't know what happened. Parent out there, parent of a child who's doing this. As the parent, if I was the parent of these kids, and Boys in Primary is not exactly a cheap school to be in, but if I was the parent of these kids, I'm taking everything away. I'm taking them out of that school, because I'm not going to keep endangering other people's kids just because my little bundle of joy made a mistake. Chopping someone's finger off is not a mistake, and it's definitely not the first one. Remove them. Put them in a prison for young people so that they can all see how badly things can get if you don't live in a way that's respectful to others. This is a glimpse into their future. We need to give them a glimpse into the consequences of their actions as well. Because they're already showing us what they are going to grow up to be. You need to show them what the end goal of that life is going to be as well. Because you know what would be worse than expelling a kid from school for bullying other kids? What's worse is letting that kid stay and then taking him to prison for life when he's 22 and he's still doing the same things, but now he's old enough to be tried as an adult.
That was legitness.
Yeah, it was. Huh?
Let me read these comments right now. Okay, so Alistair says, not Alistair, Offensive Moasa says, expel them for a week. If they do it again, expel them for 2 weeks. Third time, expel them for a year. Moonlit says, do you think corporal punishment is still required in today's age? Yes. Problem Follow says, when growing up, we actually had some things called Stoat School in Pretoria. I don't know what happened to that. That's where the naughtiest used to be sent. Yes. See, it's like, detention centers. Moonlit says expelling kids can only go so far. My brother, let me tell you, the alternative is harming them. Expelling kids can go so far, yes. But if it doesn't work, then we know Af. And by the way, I'm pretty sure Offense Mwase is not talking about these kids who ripped off another kid's finger. Those kids should be gone. There's no conversation there. There is no conversation. Those kids are gone. And we need to just discuss what else to do. All right, let's check this out. So, oh my God. This is even hard to read. DJ Lazar says, we still have Stoat School in Pretoria for those kinds of kids. And guess where this happens? It happened in Pretoria. A traumatized father had to watch as the doctors threw away a piece of his son's finger after it was cut off during a scuffle at school. The 12-year-old, grade 6 pupil at Boyson's Primary School in Pretoria had half of his right little finger cut by the door. I was called at Pretoria West Hospital, and just as I entered, I saw the doctors throwing my son's finger in the rubbish bin and said there was nothing they could do about it. I was heartbroken, and I could not believe someone could do something so cruel. The father, who cannot be named to protect his son's identity, said the incident happened on February 20 at school during break time. My son told me that a group of about 5 boys had blocked the classroom door trying to prevent them from going out. He was in front and pushed to get the door open when it closed on his fingers and cut it off, he said. In a video seen by Sowetan, a group of boys are seen going out of the classroom and shutting the door. Those inside managed to open the door, but were overpowered by the ones outside. However, they finally pushed the door open, and when the boys can be seen running, the boy whose finger was cut can be seen coming out screaming and holding his finger. The boy's father said he has not been to school since the incident happened. He's supposed to go back, but he asked me to accompany him to school. My child is traumatized. I went to open a case at the police station, but was told to come back with my son. Unfortunately, I could not immediately go back as I had a funeral at home, but the aim is to go and open a case. Abuti, I think a funeral can wait. According to a report by the school principal, the incident happened at about 9:40 a.m. as a grade 6D class were leaving room 70 after their maths period. The teacher told them to pack up and go out for break, and he left the class with the first group of learners. After the teacher went to his class next door, some of the boys on the outside of the class jumped and bumped the door and prevented the learners from leaving. Scoundrels. The boy who was in front pushing from the inside was caught in the door, and the front part of his pinky finger was ripped off. According to the report, the injured boy went to the office where he reported that part of his finger was left at the classroom stoop. The maths teacher went back to class and picked it up. I saw that in the video. Gauteng Education spokesperson Steve Mabona said they were made aware of the incident. Our officials will be visiting the school on Monday today for necessary investigation, which will assist to take decisive action. It is regrettable that such occurred in our environment. That's a crime. Alistair RSA says, I think having a deep talk with the kid first before taking any rational decision would possibly reveal the base of what might actually be causing them to do it in the first place. Because I truly believe a kid can only do what he or she saw abantu abadala beyenza. Alistair, I don't know, I guess maybe it's particularly difficult for me to be rational because, I was bullied in high school severely. I was severely beaten. I was severely, 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 severely bea There's a guy right now one of the guys who used to bully me. He knocked. I have bad hearing on my left ear. One of my ears doesn't hear as well as the others. And it's because of this guy who smashed my head onto the concrete, onto a step with his foot back in Darnell Secondary School. And as a result, I'm not the best mixing engineer. So what he did stayed with me forever. It affects my work to this very day. And he's a priest now. Huh. Say umfundisi, that man. There was another one, ironically, called Usatane, who beat me up because girls were laughing at my jokes. And he was trying to ask why Shayla some girl, and that girl called me and asked me what I'm doing and wanted to come hang out with me or something stupid like that because I was funny. Beat the crap out of me. There was another guy called Mnoto, Osemandeni. He passed away. And he also assaulted me a few times. And so, for me, those things, it's crazy. It's like I remember when Mnoto passed and we were talking about his funeral. I was just like, oh, so sad, so sad, so sad. I was like, yeah. But how sad is it really? Because this person could have killed me as well. There was a guy in my school who was stabbed in the eye by some thug called Gundwane, Danel, who used to study there. He never went to prison for that. The guy's eye never came back. He lost an entire year. It was his matric year. He lost a year of schooling. So it's very difficult for me to say, yeah, sit down with these guys and just talk to them like human beings. And I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about this. Sit down and have a talk with them, you know. Because Pastor Mtunzi didn't just smash my head on the floor one day. It started with little things. A slap here, swearing here, teachers seeing it and saying, hey, you need to stop it. And then gradually it became my head being smashed on the concrete and my hearing being damaged. I think I was almost absolutely deaf in that ear for like the first 3 months or something. I could bear, if I closed the one ear, the other ear would just be useless. Same as not. Same as Satane. Satane was known for hitting people. And the day he assaulted me I was quite a beating. Ugundane was known ukuthi uyisigebengu. But he still walked around free enough to stab a high school kid in the eye. So yeah, having a talk with the kid is important. But we need to start having talks with kids when their violence is still verbal. We need to start applying severe disciplinary hearings and talks to kids when their crimes are still the things they say, long before we get to the things they do. Because you can't talk that boy's finger back onto his hand. Oh Lord, Audio Play says, there is a prison for underaged called Bosasa, just that the government doesn't implement it enough. Lazar, that's more than bullying, that's a crime indeed. Moonlit says, this is just sad, bro. Luyanda Katanga, so young, some kids are not right at all. Yo, like why? God, the offender says, this is messed up. The hard part about this one is that it's multiple kids. They can't pin it on one kid. So how do they punish these kids? Expel all of them. Let's listen to some boom bap for the truth and past. For the truth and past you speaking, bro. Music is the healer. Indeed, music was my best friend in high school, and it really helped me deal with all sorts of bullying. I was always like the smallest and the youngest in every class. Squeakiest voice. And I'll tell you what, though, I am by far the most successful.
That was legitness. Yeah, it was.
My niggas flexing it, no. My niggas flexing it, no. Body. My niggas flexing it, no. Yeah, nigga flex, oh no. I even do wet with the footballs. My nigga tune is the guru. No. Body. Pull up and flex with the screw loose. My indigestion is too rude. I will not listen to you dudes. Flexing, yeah. I bring the vibe with the message. If niggas get loud with the questions, I pin them down with aggression. Blessings, yeah. It's a blessing. I'm reading out all the concessions. I can ride in the vessel.
I'll kick him out in a second. Big shout out to Alistair RSA says, I'm sorry about your ear, bro. But really I can't think of any I can't think of any other better way to resolve these kind of issues. Yeah, I get you, bro. I understand. It's you're saying what you're saying because you have a good heart. And kids do deserve a chance. That's definitely true. They are children after all, and at the end of the day, it is us who are supposed to teach them. Children definitely do deserve a chance. For me, it's just that the children who are bullied also deserve a chance to be happy. The children who are having their fingers ripped off, they also deserve a chance to be at school and worry only about school. Moonlit says, bro, a bully smashed my head with a stone while I was in primary. I still have a flattened area on the side of my head. Funny thing is, nothing was done to the bully. Yes. And for me, yeah, it's just... Umpo says, Raza, the issue here is that the parents are really not doing enough. Indeed, those are the biggest culprit. Most parents these days leave the raising of the kids to their nannies and just throw money at them kids. That's true. That's true. You and Casper in your vest should do what you and Questa did, says Tuto Tema Selek. What did Questa and I do? On to Mpo's question. The issue here is that, or comment rather, Mpo says, the issue here is that the parents are really not doing enough. I can't tell you how important that statement is. So, if your child is beating up other kids in school, I hate your child. But I hate you more because it's your fault. So, there isn't a single child who comes from a good, stable, loving home with parents who are not throwing everything they want at them, but are throwing everything they need at them. Love, healthcare, well-being, also some entertainment and fun, clothing. Not Gucci, not Louis Vuitton, but good clothes, whatever, Mr. Price, whatever. Just nice clothes that make the child comfortable and make the child feel comfortable and feel confident as well. Because that's another thing that really grows a lot of the bullying, is that the children who bully feel bad about themselves. They feel like they are nothing. And so they want to share that feeling with others. This is not an excuse. This is just some of the thought patterns that lead to the situations that we're having. And we're having an epidemic, I'll tell you that. free of charge, cash. This is an epidemic. So, those parents, the parents who do that, ninkinga. Your children are evil, but you are the devil itself. And I really, really think that we should start considering some sort of penalties for parents who neglect their kids to a degree that those neglected kids begin to inflict pain on other people's children. We need to. Because I can guarantee you one thing. Every bully has bad parenting involved. Every single one. Every bully has bad parenting involved. Bad parenting could mean many things. People not being there, or people being there only when the kid is doing wrong, or literally just giving the kids whatever the kid wants, the kid gets. So that the day you say, no, you can't have Gucci flip-flops, they lose their mind, flip the table, tell mom to go eat a sexual organ and then go to school and punch other kids. Every bully has bad parenting. But the reason why I think kids should still be held very much responsible is not every case of bad parenting leads to bullies. Every bully has bad parents. But not every kid with bad parents becomes a bully. I was one of them. I grew up in some of the most broken homes ever. At some point, I was being raised by my 15-year-old sister, my 14-year-old sister when I was 10, and she used to beat the crap out of me. I only spent, in my 31 years this year, I think I've only lived with my mother for, after the age of 6, probably only lived with my mother for 5 years. My dad was dead for a long time. It's not like he stopped being dead. He passed away in 1992. I went from home to home. I went from relative to relative. We went hungry. I stayed at my sister's boyfriend's places while she was very young. But I didn't become a bully. The hardships that I went through just made me feel more for people who went through the same things. So yeah, there is a degree of choice to what your teenage boy becomes. Huge. Huge. I come from situations that are far worse than the people who bullied me. The people who bullied me, oh dude, that pastor guy, they owned farms at his home. And I was looking for work in those farms. Hey, bese kuthi ubo uthi Ola Maraza onto the chats. Bo says Ola Maraza poza yami gcwele ngayo social. Correct lapho malume. Tepang Max says, in primary I got hit by a bully with a brick behind my head. Still have that scar till now. The bully changed schools without any charges. Says Tepang. Now you tell me, who do you think is the priority there? Is it Tepang or his attacker? Because it seems like his attacker was taken to a different school where he could pretend like he was a saint. Luyanda Katanga says, load shedding. Yes, says I can't finish the stream. I'll definitely be back next week. Cheers, Leander. Speaking of which we are scheduled for load shedding as well in my area, so I think it would be very safe for us to end the stream right here. But I really do appreciate all of your comments. And I do think that the one thing I want to leave this with is we need to focus on our boys. We need to love young boys. We need to respect them. And we need to respect ourselves and respect others, especially in their presence. Because young boys always want to be like their fathers and older brothers. So be the good, kind person that you want him to copy. Children are children, and children are very impressionable. And children deserve a chance. But we need to be sure that we're giving chances to good kids and not giving bad kids chances at the expense of kids who have been victims their whole lives. People make mistakes, yes. But if you do not teach your kids that their actions have consequences while they're in primary school, don't be surprised when you see cops coming to your place 10 years from now looking for your son who killed someone at university. Don't. And honestly, I'm at a stage where I feel like when cops find that son, they should take you with them. We cannot guarantee that your kids will be saints. But you can definitely put measures in place to guarantee that your kids are not animals. Before I go, Leander says, awesome topic, by the way. Everybody has a mind that works, says Tutote Maseleka. The logic is very simple. Don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. I've never been bullied, but I've come across so many violations in my life. And I don't think there's anyone that can say I've made their lives not worth enjoying. And I take pride in that. Tutote Maseleka. Please, my brother, be very proud. Be very proud. I can say this about Mpo as well. My daughter's godfather. Mpo has been through a lot. It's one of the things that bind us, that keep us together as friends. The hardships we've faced. But Mpo has degrees, bro. He has battle scars from a tough life, but he also has degrees. Student loan got him through his first one. He got a good job, paid that off, got another degree. Now I think he's studying for a Bachelor of Arts or something, and is in the process of making a very good life that will be very ready to welcome kids that will be very loved. Coming from the same hardships that you've come from, probably even worse. So if you're out there and you're 8 years old, or you're 10 years old, you're 12, you're 16, if you're going to be a bully or if you've been a bully, do not tell yourself the excuse that is only because of your surroundings. You can choose to be exactly like your surroundings or to rise above them. To rise above them takes a stronger man. And some of us have that strength. And if you choose to be exactly like them, you are a weakling. And when it comes to everyone's rights and everyone deserving chances in society, you must just know that you and your kind don't have as many. You don't deserve them. But I love you all. Please, teach your sons, your brothers, your cousins. Teach them to be better. We can all go from boys to men. Yeah. What you know about that? I'm a shit, baby. Your flower can grow around that. I came up from the bottom, I ain't going down back. Oh, you got it round back. Won't you throw it right back? I pull up to your bando, bring cows to your favor. Ask about me, I'm the main no, but I know you don't care for the fame, no.